So we are heading towards the full and final class of TypeScript. And after this, of course, tomorrow is weekend and we are having a mini test also. You can say it as weekly test or unit test or simple for a preparation only. Like we will be discussing some interview questions from TypeScript. Generally, the meaning of that test is not to give you marks and declaring first, second, third in the rank. No, not like that. We are just going to discuss some of the interview questions, how you can answer those questions, right? Okay. So, first, let me show you the syllabus that we are following here. Introduction is done, type system is done, oops concept done, this topic is left, generics are done, this topic is left, and this. So this topic is actually a sub part of this one only, namespace and modules. So now today we are going to discuss about questions are based on JS or TS. We are discussing about TypeScript, so why your questions will be on JavaScript? There, if something similar is there, then only questions will be aligning. Otherwise, there is no chance of aligning the things. Okay. So now we are going to discuss about namespace and modules, and then ts config file, ts config file, and decorators. Okay, decorators. There is a reason that we are discussing all these three things at the last, because whatever we have discussed in TypeScript till now was anyhow related to JavaScript. These things you will be seeing a little bit of difference, and no need to write anything, just try to focus here. Notes are available, no? Same. Now, what is this namespace and module, ts config file, and what are decorators? So we are going to discuss about this part. And tomorrow is the day of, like, weekend is there, all test is there. So make sure that you are attending it. And if I'm coming tomorrow and seeing that no one is here, so don't do like this, because it's totally for your practice only. I'm not going to tell anyone's marks, this, that, nothing. It's totally for your preparation part. Okay. Now let's start. So at first we are going to see that what is this ts config file. What is this ts config file? So generally, if you are working with any programming language, it requires something from external source, right? If you are talking about Python, you have to write like this: import numpy as np. We write like this. What we are doing, that numpy is a library of Python, and we are just importing it in our project to use. If you are from Java, there also we write same thing, that import java dot util dot asterisk or dot scanner, whatever thing you want to use. In Java we write like this, and .NET also we import something, right? So in almost everything, we are making use of some external things. What? Some external things. Now the case is how we will be using these things in TypeScript, because it is not like that everywhere TS has inbuilt things. No. So let's say if we are talking about decorators, decorators are not the inbuilt thing. They are not. We have to import them externally, or we have to configure them. How we will we will discuss about everything. Let's first see what is this ts config file. Ts config file, it is an it is a configuration file of TypeScript. Is it visible to everyone? It is a configuration file of typescript. It is a configuration file of typescript which we will be using to configure some methods in typescript. Example, decorators. So decorators are something that we will be using from external source. Okay, understood? Now let's say most of you are from Python and .NET only. So I will give you one thing. Why we use Flask for creating web app using Python? If I'm giving a one single line of definition, it will be the definition of Flask. That Flask is used to create a web application using Python, which will be rendering Python plus HTML file. So here you have to import it, right? So you have to import Flask, something like this you have to do. So those programming languages use this import method. What we will be using? tsconfig file. Okay. So now let's go back to the coding. You are able to get the notes in Google Classroom? Everyone? Okay. If you don't have access, talk to the IT admins, they will provide you. So now let's say this is a TypeScript folder where I will be running all the TypeScript files. Means multiple folders are there. If you want to enable this folder as a configuration file, means if you want to give the configuration file to this folder, you can give, or if you want to give it to some external folder, that also you can give. Now how we will give that file? So for that I am creating a new folder and I will give the name it as, let's say, decorators. Now let's open this decorators and open the terminal here. Okay, now terminal is running inside the typescript folder, but at first I will go into the decorators folder. Cd decorators. After that we will just write tsc space double hyphen in it. What we will write? Is it visible? tsc space double hyphen in it. What it will do? In it means initialization. So it will initialize the configuration of decorators for you. What it will do? It will initialize the configuration of decorators or the configuration of typescript for you. So once you are hitting enter, so it will say you something that created a new tsconfig.json with target module strict, so something like this, and you will be seeing that you got one file inside decorators. We got one file. Got. Let's see this again how we can do it. So I will delete the file and close the terminal. Open a new terminal. We are now in which folder you want that file. First method is you can give to the parent folder of typescript. So each and every subfolder can use it, or else whatever folder you are working on currently, let's say you are working on decorators right now, give it to decorators folder. So here we are running into typescript folder. So just type cd decorators to move to the folder of, what is the shortcut for terminal? If you want to open a new terminal in VS Code, for that you have to type control plus shift plus this icon, which is just below your escape button. If you want to open a previous terminal, then remove the shift. Previous terminal in VS Code, for that you have to write control plus simple that icon. Okay, this one. So now cd decorators I have opened. Inside this again, what I will write, tsc space hyphen hyphen in it. Initialization means we are initializing the typescript's compiler. TSC means TypeScript compiler, and we are saying TS TypeScript compiler in it. Initialize the compiler, because at last who will be compiling the things? Compiler only. So that's why we are configuring our compiler. After this, you will be seeing something like this, that created a new tsconfig.json with some modules, and it will give you. So now let's close the terminal and let's go back to decorators, and here you will see this file. So once you are generating this file, it will come in this way. It will come in this way automatically. You don't have to write anything. So you can check that there are lots of things, but how we will use it. And you will see that most of the parts are comments here, right? Most of the parts are commented here. Most of the parts are commented and some of the parts are working. So let's understand this file from the top. So this is a file. tsconfig is the name. .json is the extension. What is .json? JavaScript object notation. What it does? What is the purpose of JSON? What is JSON? JavaScript parsing? Huh? JavaScript parsing? No? Then what is JSON? What is JSON? You already done with JavaScript, right? Then what is JSON? Anyone? JavaScript object notation. Very good. Full form. Format to exchange data in simple way. Means you can parse your JavaScript in a simple way. Inside this file, there is a entity, or there is a particular function which is saying that compiler options. If you are using this tsconfig.json file, it is coming with this compiler option. Inside this, lots of configurations are there. Lots of, how many, let's say, configurations are starting from, how many lines are there? So around 110. So you can say hundreds of configurations are there, out of which most of them are commented out. How many are really working? Target is working. It is not commented out. In target, it is saying that ES2016. It means that it is targeting the ECMAScript 6 version. Means whatever TypeScript you are writing, you are targeting the ES6. Why we are targeting the ES6 only? Because it is the most stable version of ECMAScript. After that, it is saying you that it is following the module, and which module it is following? CommonJS. Now, what is this module? So you can read it here, that specify what module code is generated. After that, one more will be allowed here, this one. ES module internal operation true, means you can perform some internal operations. True. Strict mode is true. Strict mode is true means it will show you the compile time errors or some debugs it will show you. Now let's say if we want to implement our decorators here, what we want to do? Let's say you want to implement decorators here. So just find the decorators here. Where is the decorator? If you can't find, just press Ctrl F to find and just type here decorators. So you will be seeing something like this, that experimental decorators. You can see this experimental decorators, which is set to true but commented out. So what you need to do if you want to use decorators, just remove the comments. That's it. Now you can use experimental decorators. Okay, means you can use these. Understood? Now, as of now, we will comment them out because we are just studying about tsconfig file. that what is tsconfig file. So it is a configuration file of TypeScript which we will be using to configure some methods in TypeScript. Example decorators. Now steps of adding the file into your directory. And what is directory? Working folder, wherever you are working folder. So what are the steps for that? First thing we did is open a terminal, open a terminal and switch to your working folder. Switch to your working folder. And I will show you one more thing. Let's say from here I will delete this tsconfig.json file. I have deleted this. Now you can do either, you can do this thing outside of the VS Code also. This is totally possible. How we can do outside of VS Code? How is it is possible? No worry, just go to your file manager and find that folder. So we are working inside a TypeScript folder. Inside that decorators, you can see decorators here. Open this folder, nothing is there. So you can see this path address bar. Is it visible or not? This path is visible. So here just type cmd. So it will open the command prompt here. So command prompt is running inside typescript slash decorator. Same thing you type here. tsc. Okay, before that check the version also, right? Whether TypeScript is installed here or not in this folder. So you remember that we installed TypeScript with -g. Remember? When we install TypeScript, we installed it with -g, and -g stands for globally. In each of every folder of your system, TypeScript is installed. So that's why it is installed here also. Now you can run TypeScript. So here I will write tsc hyphen hyphen in it. Same way. Same thing it will show you here also. Check the VS Code and it has added the tsconfig.json file. If you don't want to work with the command prompts, leave it. You can work with your VS Code also, because terminal means it's same, right? Terminal means it's same. So let's open a terminal here. Now we are running into the TypeScript folder. Just move to the decorator, wherever you want to install. I am just using a decorators folder. It's not a big deal. You can write anything, or you can install in the main folder of TypeScript also. It will work. So let's say here I will move to cd decorators. Okay, cd decorators and then tsc hyphen hyphen in it. Created the file. Now let's mention the same. So first step is open a terminal and switch to your working folder. Here I will write either in command prompt or VS Code terminal. Anywhere you can move. Now what we are doing in the second step? Yes, what we are doing in second step? Type tsc hyphen hyphen in it tsc hyphen hyphen in it in your terminal and hit enter, and it will generate one tsconfig.json file, and that's how we are done. Okay, inside this file there are lots of things. Inside this file you can check. Once you are opening this file, there are lots of configurations. So generally in Angular we will be using these things, right? because we will be creating a configuration file for TypeScript, and obviously we will be using these things. Okay, understood? So let's say anything. So generally here in TypeScript we will be working on decorators. So now you have to find the decorators here. If you can't find it by this way, just type Control F to search here, and here type decorators. So it will show you the decorators that it is in the this particular line. So decorators are set to true but commented out. So if you want to use decorators, just remove the comment only from decorators, and don't remove any comma or something, otherwise it will produce error. Just remove the comment and just save the file. Now you are good to go. Means you can use decorators. Understood what is the use of tsconfig file and how to use create it? Understood? So let's have a recap of tsconfig, that it is a configuration file of TypeScript which we will be using to configure some methods in TypeScript. You can say methods as well as functions, as well as functions. Thanos, just now I have shown you in command prompt. Now I'm three times I have repeated it. So this is the use of tsconfig file and how to add this file in our directory. These are the two steps. Very simple step. Understood? Shall we move forward now? Okay. Now we are going to discuss about what is namespace and modules. What is namespace and modules? You know what is the biggest problem in coding? When let's say you are joining a new company, the problem is not you have to write the code. The problem is you have to read someone's else code, and it is very difficult to understood someone else's code, right? It is very, because how they are writing the approach, it's very difficult. So for that we have to maintain the code readability. Code readability means your code should be understood by others also, right? Let's say I am working in Naresh IT as a developer. I left the organization and someone came in place of me. He has to read my code at first, then add something to it or fix something. If my code is not good, then he will remember me for some good words. Okay. So what is namespace and modules? So with the help of namespace and module, we can organize our code in a good way. Okay, we can organize it. Let's say how we can organize it. These are the two methods of organizing our code and files. So as of now, decorators we will discuss after this part. So let's create a new folder and I will give it a name as name hyphen module. Means namespace and module. Inside this, I will create one file and I will name it as app.ts. Okay, because TypeScript. Now here, I'm not going to write anything new. I will write everything that you have already discussed. Okay. So let's say there is a interface. There is an interface of book, which will be having two things: name, which will be in string, author, author will be in string, price, which will be in int number. Book will have lots of other things also, but we are good to go. Now let's say there is a class of math book which is extends book, which is extending book. Okay, which is extending books. Now let's set the values here. So I will set name. Let's say name I will set advanced mathematics, advanced mathematics. Directly I'm setting the values. So here you have to write name equals to advanced mathematics. Then I will set author equals to, let's say, RD Sharma. You know RD Sharma? How many of you know RD Sharma? You don't know RD Sharma? Why? He's the god of mathematics. So let's say price is 999 and let's create a constructor here. Okay? Only Rohit Sharma. Yeah, Rohit Sharma is there. He is also a mathematician actually, because every time he is scoring 000. So now let's create a constructor, and in this constructor I will just say, don't talk guys, super keyword. Okay. Now we have a interface of book, and which is extended by a class whose name is mathbook. So we are getting some error here. Okay, we have to write, okay, this interface, so we have to implement it. So class of book is actually implementing the book interface, and let's remove the super keyword now. So the constructor will print console.log. Seems like you are a fan of Virat. No, I am fan of myself, guys. I am not a fan of everyone even. Console.log, here I will create that math book object is created. Math book object is created. You know that you should not be a fan of someone. You can support them, but don't be a fan of anyone. You are a fan of your brother. Yeah, I'm a fan of my brother. He's a decent cricket player. Okay, so now we should respect ourselves. Of course. Guys, stop talking about whose fan I am. I already said I am not a fan of anyone. Focus on TypeScript. Okay, stop talking now. Now, simple thing I have done here, right? Very simple thing. Let's try to create an object of class. Why we are creating constructor? Because constructor will be called when you are creating an object of class. You don't have to print anything else. So constructor we already discussed. So here I will write creating the object of math book class. So now what we will do, let's say let math equals to new math book, new math book. And now we have to run this. So open the terminal. As we have to go to the name hyphen module folder. So move here. I will write cd name hyphen module, and just write here tsc app dot ts, and after that just write node app dot js. So it is creating. So this question mark actually is a thing, you can ignore it. So now it is saying that math book object is created. There is no problem in this code. It is working fine. The problem will be here now. Now what I will do, because book can be anything, creating the book of chemistry. Okay, so let's create a class for it. Class chem for chemistry, which is implementing book, because this is also a book, right? Class of chem. Now let's write its name. I will write name equals to chem super chemistry, something like this. You can write it just a name. Author you have to write. Author I will write HC Verma. Who is HC Verma? God of chemistry. Very good. Yeah, he is god of chemistry. but half information. He is the god of physics. For chemistry, I think SL Aurora is there. SL Aurora. Write any name. You can write my name. You can write your name. Become the god of chemistry. So in constructor here, we will just print console.log object for chemistry classes created. Object for chemistry classes created. Console.log object for chemistry classes created. Now let's create the object of creating the object of chemistry class. No guys, don't say god of coding. Let be stay on the human level only. So here we will say that let chemistry equals to new chem. Why we are doing these things? I'll show you now. So first run the chemistry file or the same done. So object is created. Now if you are trying to write another physics book than English book, isn't it going to be very lengthy? Is it going to be very lengthy, right? And confusion will be there in this code, right? There will be a lot of confusion in this. Lot of. Agree? Let's say this is a single interface for book only. Then we will introduce favorite player, favorite sport. We can create interface of anyone. Then it is going to be a lot of confusion in the same file. So namespace and modules are the method of organizing your files and code in a proper way so that the code readability is high. Now can you find the code readability here? Because these are the 30-40 line code. Generally we will be having lines of code in 1000. What you will do there? For that we should create separate files. What we need to do for that? Separate files. Now what we will do is let's move back to namespace and modules. So at first, let me write it. I will write namespace and modules are the methods. No need to write. I will upload these things in notes. You have Google Classroom access? Then why are you writing it? Focus on learning instead of writing. So namespace and modules are the methods of organizing our code and different files in a proper way so that we are having high code readability. Guys, don't talk. High code readability. Okay, we are having the high code readability. Now when you are writing your code in the same file, it's not a good practice. So these files will be there in the name module only. I will create a book.ts file, and this ts file will be a interface only. Okay, this ts file will be a interface only. So same interface I will give here. Okay, that's it. This will not have anything. Simple this part. Now let's create a math book file here. So here I will write in the name module folder only, create a new file. I will name it as math.ts. Math. Inside mathematics typescript file, all the mathematics file will be there, and they will be extending or implementing this interface. Right? Now namespace and modules will tell you that how you can use your file internally with each other. Now these book.ts and math.ts are two different files. These are two different files or not? Right? These are two different files. How we will use them? So there are two methods. One is namespace, another method is modules. So the problem in this code is, let's say I will write a note here. If we are writing if we are writing the code in same file, then the code readability is where code readability will not be there, so that we have to make use of namespace and modules. Now let's close this file as we are not going to work with these two files now. So book is an interface only here. Let's create the same class of math book, which will be implementing the book interface. Now there is no book interface here in this particular class, but if you are hovering on book and going to this interface, it is showing that book is a interface. And if you are checking math book, so it will say you that math book is missing the following properties: book, name, author, and price. Files are different, but as it is typescript, so it is trying to read the files in the same folder. Now inside this, let's write math name equals to. Why I'm not writing name colon string? Because they are already written in interface. Here directly I'm providing the values. So let's say name equals to, I will write advanced mathematics, and author will not be string, it will be RD Sharma. And let's write its price. So price is an integer number or simple number, so I will write it in without double quotes. Let's create a constructor, or if you want to create a constructor, you can create, or else no problem. So in this, at first I will print console.log object for math book is created. Object for math book is created, and after that let's print one more thing, console.log. At first I will print this dot name plus space plus this dot, means I am printing the values that you have given to the class, and then this dot price. In the constructor only you can print. Now, is it going to be any error if I'm running this file? So let's open the terminal. So we are inside the name module folder. So let's go back to this folder, name module. Run the math.ts file. So I will say tsc math.ts. Once you are running it, error. It is showing you error. Now it is saying that cannot find the name book, because obviously interface is not there, right? Interface is not there. How we will use it? Now we will apply the method of namespace or module. For that, what I will do is this interface, I will wrap this interface in a namespace. So here you just namespace is a keyword. So namespace, and I will give it a name as anything you can give. Let's say book. Now you have to write your book is giving confusion. So let's write here BK. Okay. Namespace BK, and just keep your interface inside the namespace. Simple. Create a namespace and write your interface inside namespace. Okay. First thing, or you can create the namespace of app here. Namespace app. Write the same namespace there also. So whatever thing you are doing in class, just write it within a namespace of app. Namespace app. Keep your class inside the namespace. It is not going to solve your problem, but we are getting one thing, that when we kept the our class inside a namespace, it is giving us the compile time error now, that we cannot find this book. We cannot find the, for that we have to import our file, or you can say that interface. For importing, you have to export it from here, right? So here I will say that export interface book. You have to export it from here, and you have to import it here. So let me write a comment. I will write importing the interface file. Importing the interface. How we will import? So focus here. Visible? Triple forward slash you have to write. What you have to write? Triple forward slash. Then you have to write reference. Okay, reference actually a parameter that you have to pass. Reference and path equals to, inside path write book.ts and done. In some this way you have to create your file r small. So reference path equals to book dot, means whatever your file name is which is having the interface. Here we are exporting this interface, and here we are importing this interface, and now you will see that error is gone. Let's try to use it now. So open the terminal, compile your math.ts, running fine. Then run this file, node math.js. It is not printing anything. Why? We are not creating the object of class. So for that, let's say now you have to write everything inside namespace only. Don't go outside of namespace. So here I will say that let math equals to new math book. Okay, done. Open the terminal and run it again. tsc math.ts and then ts node math.js. Object for math book is created, advanced mathematics RD Sharma 999. So details it is printing. Now what we can do is we can keep our interfaces outside and we can use them here, right? We can use them here. Now this file, as the name is there, math.ts, it will be having all the different mathematical file. And if I want to use, let's say here in the same folder, I will create a physics file. So I will write physics.ts. Okay. Inside this, now work is done with mathematics file. I will use the same interface in this file now, and which same. For that, this is having a namespace as app. So let's see, if you are writing namespace as app, then class of physics book, which will be implementing the book. Now it should have name at first. Here I will write core physics. Okay, author I will write as HC Verma. Price, any price you can write. After that, create its constructor. In constructor, just print console.log object for physics class is created. Object for physics classes, or we will do a different thing here. Here, let's declare a new namespace. Namespace of, okay, we will do it for other thing because physics is also a book. No need. So here, object for physics class is created. Now let's create the object So let anything p equals to new physics book. Okay, done. Is it importing anything? No. Let's run it. So we should be getting some error. So I will write tsc physics dot ts, and as expected, we are getting the error. Now error is saying you that book is not available here because we are not importing it. So let's import it. So I will say import, not import. I will what, triple forward slash reference path equals to book dot ts and self closing. If you don't want to self close it, you have to close it this way. So as there is no component and you are not writing anything in between, so directly you can close it this way, or you can write this self enclosing. You know this thing or not? Self enclosing tags. No? You know this or not? If no, then why they are void tags? Why we call them as void tags? So in HTML, BR tag is there, right? HR tag is there. These all are the void tags. Why we are saying them that these are the void tags? Because their inner HTML is not there. We are seeing them on the work they are doing. Now let's say, can I write BR in this way also? In React and Angular, you have to write in this way only. Because they are supposing that you will provide the closing tag also. Now, do you have something in between here? Let's say you have a heading tag. So H1, and you have written that hello world, and then you just close the tag. Now here in the starting tag and in the ending tag, we have some content. You cannot self enclose this tag now. No, it's not allowed because content is there. If you are closing the tag here only, it will not take anything. Generally, HTML is there, it will take everything, but in most of the cases, it will not take. If the content is not there in between, here there is no content, then you can self enclose this. Anchor tag, how anchor tag can be the self enclosing tag? You have to write the link name, right? Right? Input tag can be, because in input tag we are not writing anything in between. All of thing we are giving as attribute. Let's say you are writing a input tag. Input, is it needed? No, because we are not writing anything here, right? We are not writing anything here. How we will write? Type equals to, so we are providing type as an attribute. ID equals to, name equals to, class equals to, something like this we are providing inside only. Okay, we are not writing anything outside. That's why you can self enclose this. Here also we are writing the reference tag, and we are giving an attribute of path equals to book.ts. So there is no content outside. Self enclose this. Okay. Now we have done this part. Let's try to run the file again. So tsc physics.ts, and then node. Why we use node? Because we have to run the JavaScript class now. So it is saying that object for physics class is created. This namespace is the older method. This namespace is the older method, but you can use this method also. Now, if you are using modules, or let me give you a one more benefit of this. Here, let's create a interface of player. Interface of player. Player has name. Name will be in string. They will be having sport, like which sports they play. Sports will be in string only. Okay. Then we will write age, which will be in number. Age will be in number. Now this is a interface. If you are writing this interface inside the same namespace, so let's say if you are writing this interface inside the same namespace, so this interface you close. After that, if you are writing in this way, okay, this way. Now here, let's create a player file. So I will create player.ts. Okay, player dot. Now interface file is one only. Inside this, we are creating multiple interface to import. So here I will say that let class of player, class of sportsman, sports player, class of sport player, which will implements the, what was the interface name? Player. So it will implements the player. Definitely it will say that you cannot find this particular player. So no worries. So let's write the name. Name equals to, I will write, who is Gukesh? So its sports is chess and age is 18. I am thinking about the cousins of Gukesh now. That person created lots of pressure on the cousins. So now we have to wrap this in the namespace of app. Now keep this class inside the namespace. Again, we cannot find this player, right? Because we are not exporting the interface from here. So we have to export it first. First thing, you have to export your interface. Now this is available, but you cannot use it. For that, we have to import the file. First, let's run this file. So for player.ts, let's open a new terminal. And here, first we have to go to the folder of name-module and then tsc player.ts. We are expecting error only because file is not there. Now let's import it. For that, I will say /reference path equals to book.ts, or you can name this file as interface.ts because this file is having all the interfaces. Then self enclose this and then create the object of class. Let p equals to new sports player, and let's write a constructor here. In constructor, I will just print this dot name is the new champion. This dot name plus is the new champion of, no, I will not write this dot sport. We will take it from the class only. So I will say this dot name means the player of name is the new champion of sport. Let's run the file now. tsc player.ts. Then you have to say node player.js. Gukesh is the new champion of chess. We are getting here. Let's give the space here. Gukesh is the new champion of chess. Namespace is clear? Sure? Is it clear how we are using it? Now you are having a good code readability because this particular file is having all the, and let me rename it as interface.js so that you might understood it. I will rename this file as interfaces.ts. Interfaces.ts. In math.js, we will import interfaces.ts. In physics. Okay, this is not JS. We have to import in TS. interfaces.ts and then physics.ts, interfaces.ts. But this is the oldest method of using interface, like this namespace. What we have to do for that now? Yes, if we want to implement the module method, if we want to implement the module method, there is no need, or let's say this is namespace only. This particular folder is namespace only. Okay, done. Now namespace you understood. Now let's create modules. How we will implement the modules? Modules are the new way of using these things, which was introduced in ES 6. Okay, which was introduced in ES 6. So let's create a file here. Same thing I will do here also. Let's say there is a interfaces file. So interfaces.ts. Now no need of writing namespace, just directly write interface and interface of courses. Interface of courses have name which will be in string and duration which will be in number. Duration in days. Duration in number. That's it. Now let's create here a file. I will name it as anything. Let's say Python, or I'm simply writing full stack dot ts. Okay. Now this full stack class, they are also no need of using namespace. Just directly write of class full stack implements. What is the interface name? Courses. Implement courses. After that, name I will give as Java full stack or any full stack. Let's say UI full stack. Let's write your only. Python full stack. After that, it will have the duration also. Let's say duration is around 6 months, so 180 days. Okay, duration is 180. Yes, if you are using interfaces, it is mandatory to write implements. What a silly question. In constructor, I will just simply say that console.log. Here I will print this dot name requires, this dot name requires, what it requires, this dot duration plus days to complete. Days to, it means that here it will print the course name. So let's say course name is will print Python full stack. Python full stack requires 180 days to complete. Okay, understood. Now if you are directly running it, so error, because courses is not available here. So let's move to the modules folder. Modules cd modules. Inside that, run your full stack dot ts. Full stack dot ts. We are expecting error. Obviously error is there. How to use modules now? For that, you have to export the interface as first. So I am exporting it. Export interface courses. There you have to import it like the way you import in JavaScript. Import, what is the name? Courses. And then you have to give the file name. Import courses from dot slash. What do you know this dot slash? What do you mean by this dot slash? You know this or not? What is dot slash? Okay, let me change the file. So interfaces.ts, I am keeping this thing inside inheritance folder. Okay. Now tell me, if I want to use here, what I have to write? Double dot. Double. How many of you don't know this? Everybody knows? Sure? Okay. Very good. Then I'm not discussing if everybody knows it. So in modules, we got interfaces now. Okay. Interfaces.ts is here. Inside this, let's import it. Import whatever your interface name is. This one, and it is inside module only. Okay. Same way it was just a IDE error. Now let's create the object of class. So I will say that let full stack is equals to new full stack and run it. tsc full stack.ts node full stack.js. Python full stack require 180 days to done. Understood modules? You will do same thing in namespace or as well as modules, but way is little bit different. So let's keep the same thing in notes. First we will discuss about namespace. It is the older method to organize the files and code which uses a systematic way, or it is the older method to organize the files and code. That's it. It makes use of namespace superclass. So this namespace is like a superclass and reference tag. Now how we will do it? So for that we have to go to namespace and interfaces dot ts. In this way we have to write it. Let me keep the screenshot only. This is how you have to, and it's not only for interface. The same way you can connect everything. Classes you can connect, because for classes we do inheritance. There you have to write extend. This is how you have to configure your super class. And how we are using this class? So I will write math.ts file. This is how Understood namespace and modules? Modules are the new and more advanced approach introduced in ES6 introduced in ES6, which makes use of traditional export and import commands. How it uses in this way. Don't talk, guys. Hold on. We have time. We will discuss the decorators also. Modules. Mhm. No. Okay. Let's discuss about decorators now. Decorator is a word that is something related to decoration, right? Right? Decoration. So what we do in decoration? Anyone who can define decoration in a very simple word. Decoration means whatever existing thing you are having, makeup. Let's say decoration means whatever existing thing you are having. Generally, we decorate our houses on our festivals. Are we purchasing a new house for that? No. We are just modifying the previously existing thing by putting some lights, by having new whitewashing, by applying some colors, paintings, like lots of things we do, right? So decorators are the special method to add metadata to the functions or classes. Okay, let me show you how. So what are decorators? Decorators are the, it just simple way means you are providing some decoration, and here decoration is not about colors and all. The decoration is about metadata. Decorators are the special methods. Decorators are the special method which are used to add the metadata to our functions, classes, as well as methods. Okay, let's see how. Same as annotations in Java. Yes, Gopesh, decorators are same as annotations in Java. So for decorators, we have to configure the experimental decorators in the configuration file. Okay, so I will write it as a note. For using decorators in TypeScript, we have to configure experimental decorator in our TypeScript configuration file. And how to create the TypeScript configuration file we have already discussed. TypeScript configuration file. Okay. Now how we will use it quickly, let's create a class here. So it is done, right? Save this file and then just create a new class here, any class. Let's say human.ts. Human.ts. Now what I will do here, let's first create a human class. I will say that class of human, class of human. Now human generally has these things, name which is in string, age which will be in number, and let's create its constructor now, which will be set the values. So n will be in number, a which will be in n will be in string, and a will be in number. After that we have to set the value, so this dot name is equals to n, this dot this dot age is equals to a. Okay, this way. After that what we will do, nothing, we will just print console.log human object is created, human object is created. Now you tell me, how many of you know about annotations? Annotations. Generally the annotations are written with at the rate of symbol. So what do you mean by this? If you are writing at the rate of gmail.com, what is this? It's not a decorator. So first let's do it. So there is a class of human and we are just printing it. Let's create the object of human class. So I will say let object equals to new human, and human is expecting two arguments, name and age. So I will say name is ABC and age is 100. Actually the age of ABC is more than 100 also, right? Why are you laughing? So we are inside the decorators folder. So let's go there. CD decorators, tsc human.ts, and then node human.js. Human object is created. How we will use decorator here? For that, let's create a function, and function I will create as deco. There is a deco function. So it should be a function. Function of deco will only print console.log, and in this it will print that I am a decorator and I am saying that the life of ABC is more than my life. Don't talk. Now if you are writing in this way, this is a statement that we should not provide inside the class of human, right? Because it is related to someone as deco, right? For that what we need to do, we need to keep the annotation here at the rate of deco, at the rate of deco. But deco is giving you error, is saying that deco accepts too few argument to be used as a decorator here. Okay, not an issue. So here it is using console.log. Okay, we don't have even time to discuss decorators. Can we discuss this tomorrow? Okay, because decorators are lengthy actually. So hold on, we will discuss decorators tomorrow after the test. So you can say that for half an hour or like 45-minute test will be there. After that we will discuss decorators. Okay. So namespace and modules, you understood these two parts? So let me remove decorators from the notes. I will upload only namespace and modules. Stop talking, guys. I said stop talking. Sitting in the first row and talking continuously. Any question? Then so namespace and module code I will provide you. Okay. both are doing same work. Namespace and modules both will do the same work. It is just the way for using them. The test will be online only, guys, don't worry. There's no offline test. So today we discussed namespace and